Well, good morning everyone. Today's video is going to share with you my mom's Amish scalloped potato recipe. It's really simple, it's really easy. I'm also going to share with you what I'm doing with 30 pounds of potatoes. So I hope you stay tuned. So what I did is I peeled all of the potatoes and I cut them in nice thin slices. In order to dehydrate our potatoes, we have to blanch them. So we are going to put them into the boiling water, and we're going to blanch them for 10 minutes. Now we want to make sure that we blanch them very well, but we don't want to cook them through. So we're going to put all of our potatoes in this water, and when it brings to a boil, we're going to count about 10 minutes. Now the potatoes have been in cold water overnight with some lemon juice to keep them nice and white. This is a lot of potatoes. I did 30 pounds. I did the same procedure and I froze some of the potatoes. But I simply don't have enough room to freeze them all. Potatoes blanched, and we're going to go ahead and we are going to put our slices on our trays. Now our slices are going to be single layer and don't have them touch each other. So to tell when they're ready from blanching, I just take a fork in them, and if the fork goes in them easily, then they're blanched enough for me. So this is going to take me quite a while to fill up all these trays, and when they're filled up, I'll show you what they look like. I have the cup here. That just helps me so none of them get fallen in the middle where there's a hole there. So we just move that cup when we go to the next batch trays. Alright, so I have 5 trays, and that's all I'm going to put on for this dehydrator. So we have 5 trays, and we're going to go ahead and dehydrate it anywhere from 12 to 15 hours. I'm hoping that I can have it done in 12. I do not like my dehydrator running overnight while I'm in bed. I just don't have that practice, but let's hope that they get done in time before I go to bed. What I decided to do with the leftover potatoes, the ones that couldn't fit into my dehydrator, we're making scalloped potatoes. Really simple. Just it's potatoes, some onions, and I took 2 cups of milk with 2 tablespoons of flour and some cheese, and we are going to put it on our scalloped potatoes. And that's all it is to it. If you want to make this into a main dish, you could add a little bit of ham, but this is how we're going to have it, and we're going to bake it for about 1 hour, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. So that's all to it. It's 2 cups of milk with 2 tablespoons of flour and some shredded cheese, and that is our white sauce. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to bake this, and we're going to bake it at 350 for about 1 hour. The scalloped potatoes are finished and they are amazing. So it's such a simple recipe. All you have to do is blanch about 6 potatoes, cut them up sliced thin, put them in your casserole, and add 2 cups of milk with 2 tablespoons of flour. You want to heat the milk and flour up until it's a little bit thickened. Then I added some of my cheese sauce that I can, or you can add about 1 pound of shredded cheese. Put it in the oven at 350 for about 45 minutes, and you got yourself a really good meal. So all of those potatoes I turned into dehydrated potatoes. It took a little bit of time, and it took a little bit of effort, but it's well worth it. So all of those potatoes can be easily stored in a small jars like these. You know your potatoes are done when you snap them and they crack. So they are completely crispy. Now we're going to vacuum seal them, and we have these for many, many years. So just another way that you can store your food. You don't have to can it, you can dry it. Remember the leftover Videla onions? Now we added them to the chili, but I dehydrated the rest. I dehydrated the rest of the Videla onions, and all the little tomato pieces. So here we have onions and tomatoes, neatly dehydrated, that I can put on my pantry shelf, and I can use it anytime I need some onions. Isn't that great? One thing about dehydrating is it really doesn't take much effort. It does take a little bit of time, but you can do a large quantity of food and turn it into a very small glass jar. And so it doesn't take up all that space that regular canning would. So, can it and dry it. Those two ways, you are not ever going to waste anything. I normally go to bed by 8 p.m. But hubby had to go to bed early because he got up really early this morning for work. So I decided I was going to get some things done. It felt really good to work and get extra things done, even though I'm not a night person. I'm a very early morning person. But last night I decided to do all of my rototilling and working in my garden. To be honest with you, the garden was starting to look a mess. Weeds everywhere. So it felt really good to just get working. It's been so hot here that you almost have to work early morning or late in the evening to get your job done. It's been a little while since I gave you a garden tour. I'm very busy. Everything is coming in this time of year. So my cucumbers, my green beans, my beets, all of these things are coming in. And it is a busy, busy time of the year. If I don't respond to your comments right away, I hope you understand right now is really busy, but don't worry, I'll respond to you. So I'll show you what the garden looks like. What you're looking at is called sunchokes, and they are perennial, and they produce a tuber under the ground that you can use in replace of potatoes. Now I'm not harvesting this year because this is my first year, but I really love it because it has a fenced property look. So in other words, I love it for a fence screen. Gives you a lot of privacy, so I can work in the garden and nobody from the road can see me. I'm looking into getting some more sunchokes to have a little more privacy fence. You want a living, breathing privacy fence. The sunchokes are perfect. They produce a beautiful sunflower which can be seen towards the end of fall. The tall herb beside the sunchokes is called mugwort, and I use that to make beautiful dried wreaths. The leaves turn a silver color when they're dried. And of course we have the echinacea and all the different teas. Marshmallow, valerian root, and all of those things. Yarrow. And here my garden is from the end of my property. So this is what it looks like. And I love the little trellis that I made. It's working great. I'll show you a little closer the green beans growing up it. All of my tomato plants, lots and lots of tomato plants, and they're doing very well. That's one thing the deer don't seem to like, is tomatoes. Thank goodness for me. Lots of zucchini are coming too. And all of these are different teas. I will use these for potpourri and also for brewing. And this is calendula, and we just picked a whole bunch of the flowers. Now I use this and I infuse it in olive oil, and we can use this as skin conditioning, and also it's antibacterial.